Hello, welcome back. Last time I reached a game ending, and then I wasn't sure what was going to happen afterward. So I have like little bits and pieces of... What's in options? Right, this is where all the languages I saw were. Yep. Everything had to go black for a moment there. Oh. Right, this turned on in an update and I actually found it weird, so I left it off. Alright, so I have 94 stars. There are 120, just like Super Mario 64. I feel like the fact that these are stars and that that's the number that's chosen might not be an accident. Okay, so, right, the big mystery I have a vested interest in solving is this one. That round icon only shows up on this island, doesn't it? I have no memory of where I got the first half of that disc. I don't think it was on this island, but it could have been. So maybe if I want the other half of it, looking local to here would make sense. First thing I want to do, I made myself a paper chart of the, let's see, what's the best way to get there? Let's try the Phoenix. I made myself a paper chart of both bird routes and of the tablets on Frozen Spire that point from place to place. I just want to look at that one puzzle input screen and see if anything at all lines up there. Just... I've been meaning to do this for a while. A little visual reference here. Grids drawn out of the two things, and I want to see if any of the lines drawn on the thing line up in any way. So, Frozen Spire. Yeah, so I have one chart of these, like the location I'm from and the location it points to, and a separate chart of the first... That is not what I meant to do. A separate chart of the first place a bird took me from which nest. Because each bird nest clearly has an assigned location. But then, afterward, they just take me wherever they want to, and the cursor doesn't, like, default to where they originally went or anything. Let's go see this god now that I am one of her type. But I guess that doesn't matter. Or it hasn't actually happened yet, because... Oh, there's a key here. Right, I need what might be a jump button for that. Or maybe not. If I could get one of those clouds over here, which I could probably do, I'll bet I could claim that key, but why would I care about a key? Someday I will. Maybe, if I run out. Oh, I have only 3 left. I actually did use a lot of them on that island. Okay. Why is this marked yellow? Ah, because I might have been able to deal with these diamonds. Maybe. I also don't know why I would want diamonds, other than just they're a thing that could be collected. Anyway, where I want to be is here. So taking another look at this, I'm sure I've bumped into that at some point. And it says no because I don't have whatever key that is. I've gone this way in the clouds, sure. It would make the most sense to me that the key is here locally, and since this is the closest thing to it, that this puzzle input is the thing that does that. Okay, so... that chart down there. So whenever I step on this tile, it changes to what the pink thing then shows. So like the thing in the lower left will become the item that's set to this when it cycles again. This looks like it's going to be really annoying to input, but I need to have some idea of what I am inputting first. Okay, so I guess the best way to look at this, the pink lines aren't the most obvious, but let's compare this to my 2 charts. So with tablets, nothing touches the upper left corner, the one where I am, no, the one north of where I am now. A bird destination is there. A bird destination is also at E0. And then that other line does not correspond to anything on my map. So that one doesn't make sense with this chart. Also, line between... Okay, so, well, I moved. But, you know, I'm talking like A0 to D3, E0 to B3, and then an extra line between A3 and E3. That doesn't correspond to anything on the chart. So I took a step. Let's see how this one lines up. Alright, B0 to E3... here to here is indeed a bird route I followed once. However, B3 to E2 here to here is not. C3 to E2 is, but B3 to E2 is not. So that bottomish line, the mostly horizontal one. And then the other line from B0 to E1 also does not correspond to anything. B0 goes to E3. So I'm wondering if I need the true ones of these, the ones that actually correspond to bird routes, or if it's just something else entirely. Nothing at all touches E4 except for one tablet is there, the one that points at C1, so that triangle doesn't look like it corresponds to anything. This spiral, nothing starts from D4, which is this space. So the spiral's pretty clearly nothing. And also nothing ends at B2. Although, what's the start and what's the end? The X there... What is the X, actually? The X is where I am. Okay, so the X in this map is the "you are here" marker. I've tried following one of these routes, right? What I don't have in front of me is a map of what all this draws. Okay, so I checked the triangle, I checked the spiral. Okay, so E0 and A4 are not directly connected in either of these maps. E0 and B3 are, so a tablet here points at this spot, but not that one. However, now hold on. There's a tablet here, there's a tablet here, and that's all that points. And the other tablet is here. Okay, so that's nothing, seemingly. Alright, so B3... Assuming the X is the start. B3 going to E1, going to A0, going to A4. That's nothing. That just doesn't line up with anything. What about this one? E3, not on tablet map. It's a bird destination. E0 also is. That's where the Phoenix point is. Wait. Yes. Yes, I went to the Phoenix, not from the Phoenix. Was there a one-way block of some sort from there? Could I have birded first from the bigger, fierier bird spot? No. This was a one-way south. Okay. So basically what I'm ending up doing here is mostly deconfirming that what I'm trying to map out makes any sense. C0, top center, is a point you fly from. You do fly sort of in that direction, but to D1, not E1. And then it goes to D2, then E2. This is gibberish. And then that shape, that is nothing. That shape, that's clearly nothing. That shape corresponds to nothing on my chart. That shape corresponds to nothing on my chart. That shape corresponds to nothing on my chart. This one has a curvy line. Corresponds to nothing on my chart. Okay, but hold on. Here's an idea. So what if this involves nothing on the outside? Okay, so I just had a new idea for how to interpret this. So let's say the outside information is irrelevant and everything I would need to solve this is here in this room. A possibly valid phrasing of this sort of this glyph is, how can a bird get from the dot in the upper left to the dot one north of the lower right? If it wants to do that, then which three of these maps will start at this point and end at that point? So first of all, is there one that starts at... Okay, well... So maybe if I would start there... But... Okay, so every line... Maybe there's just extra lines here? So there's a dot and there's an X. Can I infer that one of them is start and one of them is end? Okay, so there was an X at the end point, X at the end point, dot at the start point, dot at the start point, X at the end point, and never the other way around. Okay, so I can infer, because there's an arrow with a direction here, I can infer that dot is the start point, the X is the end point. Okay. Let's go ahead and just say the lines are completely superfluous. They mean nothing. All I'm looking for is a series of dots and X's where dot 1 goes to x2, dot at x2's location goes to x3. No, dot 1 goes to x1. Dot at x1's location goes to x2. Dot at x2's location goes to this final spot. This final spot. That's plausible. And seeing how these are input, because the mechanism's the same, so the next one in series, the one it will become after I've taken the step, is what goes down on the thing. Ah, and you show me what I've drawn after I've drawn it. Okay, that is a piece of information I either didn't observe or forgot. Okay, so you're telling me what these shapes actually mean. So the spiral in orange, the window shape in blue, and something else. Okay, spiral in orange actually means line between B2 and D1. Okay, so what does the spiral look like? If B2 and D1 is what that means... Yeah, okay. So the lines mean absolutely nothing. Ignore the lines completely, they get straightened out here, it's just the dot and the cross. Why are the lines there? Maybe they'll mean something someday. But they're maybe just to throw me off the scent. Okay, so the first one is either the triangle there, or the window. Okay, so the right triangle, the window, or the sideways lightning bolt. Or the one with the curve. So that means destinations could be... Okay, I have paper in front of me, so I'm going to use it. How am I going to use it? And maybe there's a better way to do this, but okay, I'm gonna... Uh-oh. Paper, yes. Writing tool, maybe. Okay, I need to draw a grid. Alright, I'm doing the best I can here, but you won't be able to see what I'm doing, and also my workspace here is just not set up at all for this, so this is going to be super awkward for me. But okay, got a piece of paper with a grid on it in front of me, so we're starting at A0. This is a start point. So I have a mark on my start point. The possible endpoints from here are D3. I'm going to draw within the D3 cell this shape. Again, you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but I have that curve and the vertical line in the D3 cell now. Alright, so other available shapes that start at the start point. So here at A0, okay, so E0 is the destination when the shape is the upside down table. Okay, so upside down table goes to E0. And the right triangle goes to A4. Okay, and there was one more, I think. The sideways lightning bolt. That doesn't start at the start. Oh, and the window. There are 5? Okay, so that goes to C0. Alright, window at C0. That does not start at A0. That does. Okay, sideways lightning bolt goes to B2. That's 5 potential starts. And then we loop around to the curvy one. That's the only one with a curve, isn't it? No, that one had a curve too. Okay, the one with the most pronounced curve. Then immediately after is the less pronounced curve. Most pronounced, less pronounced. Okay, so then let's look at endpoints. Right, so those are the start points. Things that end at the end. The end being lower right. Okay, so starting from here. There's that little backward P shape. Sure. That one... I want to do this in like a different color. Alright, I'm gonna need colored pencils now. Alright, if this turns into something that's worth showing, I'll scan it in and show it afterward. I'll probably just do that anyway, even if it's not interesting at all. Somebody will enjoy seeing this. I know people like to see these charts. Okay, so here at... So if the destination is E3, I'm drawing with a blue pencil now. The backward P shape has to come from D1. Okay, yep, you can clearly see a difference between gray and blue there, so that's unambiguous. Alright. Next one that ends at E3. So if I have the start point and the end point, then I just have to find one that links both of those, and that should be a solve. Alright, so we have one that goes from E1 to E3, and it looks like a lot of stuff. So that's shallow diagonal line at the bottom. 45-degree line, shallow diagonal line at the top. Okay, and those lines are joined. So next, anything else that ends at E3. There's this ridiculously complicated thing. Oh, that goes from E0. That would be there's a 2-hop route. But I need a 3-hop route, don't I? So there is a 2-hop route. I could go from A0 to E0, and I could go from E0 to E3, but I have 3 panels to input, so I don't think that's valid. Alright, this shape. Okay, so that's 2 shapes sharing the same cell. That's fine, I'll be able to tell what's going on probably. Anything else that ends at E3? The backward P. Okay, so there are 3 that end at E3, and 5 that start at A0. So now I need one that starts at one of the... Okay, one that ends at one of the 3 start points that end at E3. I think I phrased that correctly, but I don't understand what I mean and no one else will. This one is valid, I think. Yeah, okay, there's a route. Okay, so right there. D3... to E1. I'm gonna need another color. Alright, red pencil would connect these two, and I guess I'll just draw this off to the side rather than putting it on the grid. Well, that doesn't quite make sense. How will I do this? Alright, notating this. My notation breaks down at this step, but I think I have my route. So that with the backward P and the extra thing on the side. So that symbol is fine, and then I would just have to figure out... Whoops! That's fine. Okay, so I can undo and go back in time if I want. That's good. Okay, so then there's no real pressure to exactly get this sequence and understand things, because I can just... Yeah, all throughout this room I have one turn undo, because every one of these is a meaningful change. I'll check a few others. Okay, so where was I? Was that this shape? So that links the 2 halves. Does anything else? I'll do a quick check. That's the start. Well, that's the start that's linked by what I was just looking at. So starting from there, going to there, that's not valid. That's one of the starts. That's one of the ends. That's one of the starts. That is... That's another valid route. Okay, so I could also do the spiral. Okay, spiral is noted. Is there going to be 3 valid routes here? I wonder. Okay, spiral is noted. Are any of these others valid? That one is? Okay, I can do that too. Okay, so that's the straight diagonal line. I'm drawing it here on the map. Well, it's a straight diagonal line. Okay, so I have 3 routes that work. What about this one? That's nothing. That endpoint doesn't connect to anything else. This one, did I look at this? I thought I drew this symbol once. I was sure I drew that symbol once. I did, yes. So I've gone all the way back around. Okay, so I have 3 routes. Alright, pick any. So that let's input a... Okay, yeah, so this is one of the things I can use. So if that's what I did in red pencil, but in this one it's blue, I guess I could have matched those colors. But over on the left the colors don't match. Anyway, that's fine. So if that's the route that I'm going, that needs to connect to this one that I'm looking at here. So go left. And then the final one is... Did I not draw that? I did. I drew it in blue. Okay, so that's where I'm going. So I want the 3 diagonal lines that aren't really connected to anything. This. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think it's 14? It is. So this should be a valid solution. There we go. It's a valid solution. Okay, do you want more? I have more. Nothing's like counting up. But I made a valid solution. Is it like, it's locked in, so that stays. Alright. Okay, so the other 2. So starting with the connector in the middle. Other connectors, which one did I use? I used the backward P with an extra tail on it. So if I go back and forth here, I will run into either spiral or /. There's spiral. So if I put spiral there, then I need sideways lightning bolt on the left. That's U, okay. And I need backward P on the right. Okay, this chart worked. I think backward P is about here. No. Nope. There it is. Okay. That should be valid route number 2. There we go. It went dong. Okay. It erased my previous valid route. I'll input number 3, but I'm wondering if it's telling me to take this bird route and something will happen while this is input. Let's input the 3rd one. And maybe there are 3 runestones. Runestones? Is that what I'm calling those? The charts that show locations. But let's put in one more route here. Like, I'm wondering if I have to fly the bird from north of here to that destination, that destination, that destination. But alright, so putting in the 3rd one, the one I did not do is the /. And that's in red. Well, what I call red, what this game calls blue, and then something else on the left. Okay, so to link / on the left I need right triangle. That's you, okay. And on the right I need that one that I'm looking at right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Alright, I put in all 3. Nothing happened on its own, but let's try taking that route. So just visit all the corners, sort of, in that pattern, sort of. So from here to here. There's that stone. Here to here. Oh, this is the all stones route. Okay, so this route takes me across all 3 of those charts. Oh, should I have been interacting with those? Whoa, okay, I got picked up again. So I did the route, now this is happening. Okay, so any of the 3 is valid. Alright, so once I made the initial connection, every part of that puzzle after that initial guess that was plausible was made was fantastic. The parts leading up to that, not so much. There were 2 parts to the puzzle, one of them was good. That did not help me with the blue key. It got me a black stone and a green key. Well, it confirmed this was a green key, so it eliminated a possibility space for where the blue key is. I still think it's either not on this island or here. That's certainly what the map tells me. Let's try another route. No, this puzzle is done. You can do one of 3, any is fine, but they all end the thing. Okay. Okay, well I found all 3. Only needed 1. That's cool. I don't know what I'm doing with all these extra gemstones. Still no idea. Okay, I gotta move things around here because my desk is a mess. Alright, you go there, you go there. So yeah. 1, I'm glad I don't have to worry about that puzzle anymore. But on the flip side, I'm not so glad having that puzzle solved didn't actually help me. It got me a star, sure. I guess I just need to forget about this key and its cape. And just wait until they come to me somehow. Focus on other things. Let's go elsewhere in the world. Where do you have in mind? I don't know. Nowhere in particular, I guess? I'm trying to leave. So whatever that cape does... Well, it wasn't needed to finish the game. It wasn't needed to finish the island. And it was not given as a prize for the big meta puzzle on this island. That wasn't even a meta puzzle. It was actually, well, I had to do the actual flight path once I discovered it. So that's the sparkle of a star, and I need the cape for that, probably. Because cape seems to be jump button, and I don't have the means to do what I'm doing here. So is this telling me... Okay, so what island has something of interest? I'm sleeping in the water. I appreciate that I'm actually sunken in it a bit. At B3... Why does somebody care about something at B3? B3 on what island? Well, okay. Because this sounds and looks like Tidal Reef, let's assume that's B3 at Tidal Reef. That sounds like a perfectly reasonable assumption as these things go. So B3 Tidal Reef. What could that be referring to? Oh, hang on! Now, what... Speaking of maps showing me things, what about those tablets back on Frozen Spire that were all on the route that I took? They didn't do anything. They were interactive, like I touched them and they said no. I didn't touch them while I was on that route. I guess I could fly that again. So I am glad that the solution to that did not require recording bird routes, since that was information that was only given once. B3, Tidal Reef. The Phoenix location. Okay. Serpent eyes are not lit, but maybe there are secrets that even they cannot see. I mean, okay, I can depart from here using the Phoenix. I'm gonna push on all of the walls first, just in case there's something that I want to touch here. I mean, the serpent thing has been very consistent. I've never detected a secret that can be accessed by pushing on walls that the serpents could not see. So nothing has told me yet that I cannot trust them. I think I pushed everything of interest here. So if I phoenix from here, can I then fly to that place I just was? No. I can go all the normal places. Nothing magical is going to occur as a result. Okay. Well, let me go here and touch this. Still not active. Alright, so similar format. You're pointing to something at B3. B3? Same spot. With the partitions, that's definitely this island. There's no phoenix there. Okay, well let's go there, I guess. Which of your birds wants this egg that I'm holding on to? Well, here at B3, there's a swirly thing. Snake eyes are lit up. Oh, hey! I might be able to do some things here. I'm sure I can do things all over. I didn't really interact much with these elementals at all. Now that they're here, I bet there are things I can do with them. So they didn't exist in the cape room, therefore they cannot be used to get the cape. But over here, I think I can cross pits with one? And I should be able to, without much trouble, get this to cover that hole. I can open the shortcut and then afterward ring the bell, I think? I want you to be in a slightly different spot. Like that. Okay, since I'm here, I'll do this. Whoops! Okay, right, of course. Ice remains ice. Why would it be anything else? Alright, well, I mean, I guess that's another way to get to the seagull there. Great. Now, this hole, though, I can't fill that hole, because clouds don't go downstairs, do they? Everybody knows that. Such a cliche. Oh, my character yells. That's how he directs the windy thing. You don't go downstairs, do you? You sure don't. I'm pretty sure that Cloud's not going to either. So I'm actually calling out a command. Can you blow me across a pit? I'm not 100% sure about that. I tried getting blown into spikes and I just died. When you blow me... let's see, I have to direct you to do so. And I have to not be standing on that. I go one tile. No, somehow I thought it was two. But it ain't. I could destroy a box that way. Okay. Alright, well... So I think basically the signal I'm getting is I'm not going to find one power-up that'll solve all my problems. They're still all just individual problems. Just chip away at the... I'm seeing like a little lizard face on this... this bit of map. Facing left. Anyway, so, alright, that's fine. I can chip away at puzzles that are here. I spent so little time with these elementals, I feel like I should go into cleanup mode on this island and get what I can. Leave mysteries where they cannot be solved. But at least make an attempt to solve puzzles where they maybe can. Looking at this room, though... There's not enough stuff here to get to that bell, or that bell. Both of those bells are out of reach, so I'm not getting that star until I have something more. That star maybe, there's a... I mean, maybe there's something I just don't know about how to use the tornadoes. Does this kill me? Sure does. If I like double tornado... That just kills me. But okay, so if I slide into one, I do slide in that direction. Maybe one of you can break a one-way gate. Oh! Well, that might explain a couple of things if it's true. You cannot. You could push something into it, maybe. Another one of you? So that gets pushed all the way. No, it gets pushed to. That's where I got the getting pushed to thing from. That won't help, and now I can't push you anymore. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. Next time I will work on figuring it out.